Welcome, everyone. Today is Friday, and we know what happens on Friday. Every Friday at 12 noon. This is Damon, the agent, coming to you all live with my podcast, Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Life, where I come to you all and I talk about what goes on in the world of real estate. I usually have a business spotlight, something that's going on in the community, or someone who's advertising their business. Then I always end on by talking on a topic relating to life. So today, um, the topic is rent with option to buy, the pros and cons. I have a business spotlight with Remi Duyile. She's running for delegate in where is it at? I have it right here. I'm sorry, I don't want to. She's running for delegate in District 23. And then I'm also going to finish by talking about life happens. Okay. So let me begin in the world of real estate. Again, today is Friday, July the 15th. I'm sorry. Today is actually my son's birthday. I have a son named He's named my junior, Damon Brockenberry Jr. He goes by DJ. Today he turns 21. Wow, I can't believe time's flying. So if my son is out there watching, which I doubt because he's always on the go like me, and he's always doing this and he's doing that. So if he's out there, I want to wish my son DJ a happy 21st birthday. I will be talking to him soon, but at the same time, though, just wanted to acknowledge him real quick because that is my junior. So let me begin the topic. Like I said, the first topic of the day pertains to the world of real estate and rent with option to buy. The pros and cons with renting with option to buy. Now, this topic came about because someone called me recently and they asked me the questions about they wanted to rent with option to buy. And I think that is a concept that we have been hearing for a long time. But in the world of real estate, things change so rapidly that sometimes things can be outdated and people not even realize it. Like I explained to this individual, the rent with option to buy nowadays is not as popular as it once was. And the reason why is there have been many things that have taken place with the rent to option to buy. Like, for example, when rent to option to buy, that was a formula that was given to a lot of people who could not afford to buy at the time because they had challenged credit. They didn't have the money for down payment and closing costs. So a lot of sellers used to assist them with doing so. And also doing so, they would normally raise the rent a little bit more than what market value was. For example, if market value was say $1,000, they might charge $1,100 with that extra $100 going towards the difference of the end of the lease term to be used as the down payment. So a lot of times with the rent with option to buy, most times homeowners will want a minimum of a 2-year agreement with that difference to assist them to go towards their down payment. So in many cases, like using that example, let's say it was $1,000 for the rent, and then $1,100 was to agreed upon, so that $100 can go toward the down payment. After 1 year, that's what, $1,200. After 2 years, that's $2,400. So then that $2,400 will be credited towards the tenant slash buyers, who would then get the owners to finance the loan for them, which was a thing called owner financing, which is rarely used today in today's world. Like, most people who are purchasing home are purchasing them through loans the traditional way, which is the FHA, conventional, VA, or jumbo loan, or cash if they have cash. Owner financing has been somewhat eliminated. It is rarely used and everything. But in doing so, with the current state of the way the market is, most owners today are either renting or they're either selling their property. Many do not do rent with option to buy because there have been some lawsuits that have been taken up upon the tenants and landlord, because in that agreement, let's say the example that I just gave you, that the tenants became late on their payment. Once they became late on their payments, then what normally had happened was is that what normally happened once they became late on their payment is that money, that difference, that $100 difference that was used to go towards their credit, it was all defaulted. So you had tenants who, let's say, paid 9 months and they had that credit and they were paying more than market value. They did not want to continue to pay the difference as far as the $1,100, and they weren't given credit because a lot of times when you're doing these rental agreements, you really have to read the fine print. I think a lot of times people just sign things, they do not read the fine print, and therefore they tend to, they tend to get caught up in situations and circumstances that they're unfamiliar with. So, I just wanted to stress that when it pertains to rent with option to buy, a lot of times a person can go into rent and then they can hold a conversation with the owner. I just recently sold a property in which my clients, they were trying to sell at one point a few years ago. They decided to rent the property out. Now, once the lease term of the tenant was up, they came back to me because they wanted to sell the property. At that particular point, the tenants always have first right of refusal as far as wanting to buy that property. In this case, the tenant did want to buy the property. In many cases, once a tenant has gotten approved for a certain amount, they, in a lot of cases, they don't want to buy the house for what the landlord slash owner wants to sell it for. Therefore, it becomes a controversy. And once they get approved for a home loan, they tend to go look for another home loan. So in that case, the reason why, I'm saying, that's one of the issues of the struggle that goes on, because once a tenant has been living in a house for a certain amount of years, they want to buy the house at the lowest value. Let's say if they went in there and they've been in for 2 years, they want to buy it when they first went in, when the owners want to sell it at the highest value. So that's why I said the rent option is very limited these days and everything. You see a lot of people who will advertise it for marketing, rent with option, but when it pertains to rent the option, I always say, how many people do you actually know has bought in a house with the rent the option to buy? I am in the world of real estate, and I do know some people have, but it's very few. A lot of times it's a marketing tactic that's used to lure people to rent the house, and then they say, oh, we'll talk about it at the end of the agreement. The end of the agreement comes. Most tenants say, you know what, I want to buy another house because I can afford this and better. I feel like this house ain't worth what the homeowners want to sell it for. And then becomes that issue. So in most cases, I will always strongly suggest that if a person is looking for a rental option to buy, look to rent first and then see if you can talk to the landlord about possibly buying at the end of the lease term. And then if that is the case, read what the lease terms are so you can be in agreement with that and there's no controversy between you and that particular homeowner slash landlord, because those are the things that have eliminate a lot of the process, over time. So um, Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I'm saying, I just had noise going off. I had to go shut the noise off. But again, like I said, when it pertains to the rent, what option to buy, I'm saying, I strongly suggest when it pertains to people's credit to really focus on your credit, because even with renting, whether it's rent with option to buy, landlords tend to still focus on that. They want to make sure that the tenant that they get into the unit is actually going to be able to pay um, that rent consistently, because most of the landlords still have to pay a mortgage. So they need to make sure that they getting that money on time. So that is one of the things that a lot of people who are looking to rent should take into consideration. Credit, they're focused on credit. And then even with the rent, well, option, like I said, is very limited. But even in the case that I've recently dealt with, one of the things that the landlords were focused on was the fact is that whether or not that person was able to qualify at the end of the lease term to actually purchase the property. So some people want to do with the rent with option to buy and everything, but during that whole process, they themselves have not put themselves in a position to buy. So I think a lot of times people need to really take that into consideration. A lot of things goes heavily on the tenant slash buyer. Everything goes on you all. So they're very limited. And the pros with that is if you can get a landlord who is willing to agree to that, because remember, a minimum of a 2-year lease agreement is required to agree to that. But as the tenant, you're going to have to be able to agree to pay a higher than market value rent. So if the rent is $1,500 and they say, okay, well, we're going to charge $1,700, with that $200 difference a month going towards your down payment at the end, you have to be in agreement with that, because understand the rentable option is to help that tenant purchase at the end of the lease term, but they have to do things themselves. So you're not going to pay a reduced rent. You're going to actually pay a higher rent in order to purchase at the end of that rent with option to buy. You know what I'm saying? So these are some of the things, and some of the other things that tenants have to take into consideration is the status of the home. During some of that rent with option to buy, there have been a lot of issues with landlords not paying the actual mortgage. And what ended up happening was some people who were doing the rent with option to buy came to find out the house was actually going into foreclosure. I remember a few years ago, I had a lady give me a call wanting to know the status of the house she was in, because there were letters coming to the house being FedEx by the mortgage company. And then come to find out the house was going into foreclosure, but she was consistently paying the landlord rent, and she was in a rent to option to buy agreement. So my thing is, though, is when you tenants are, and if you go into a rent with option to buy, please, you know what I'm saying, ask for make one of the stipulations in the agreement to know what the status of the home is every 6 months or every year. That way, you know that you're not, that you're dealing with a responsible landlord, because just like some tenants could be irresponsible, sometimes so can landlords be very irresponsible. So it's a tricky situation when it pertains to the rent with option. That's why a lot of times nowadays, homeowners are either renting or they're selling. A lot of them don't do the rent with option to buy, because they have got hit with multiple lawsuits in the past because of the things such as that. So I just want to keep that in mind, so you'll understand that the rent with option to buy is limited. So please keep that in mind, because I don't want anyone to get caught up, even though it's unfortunate. Sometimes people do get caught up, but I want you all to do your due diligence and homework so you'll know what you are actually inheriting, so you can be on top of everything. So hold on for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So real quick, I have a business spotlight today. Remi Duyile, she's running in District 23 in Maryland, which I believe is in PG County. I've had the pleasure of meeting this lady, and we've talked numerous times. She's a former loan officer, so that's how we connected. She's a former loan officer, but she's very passionate in reference to running for delegate, and she's very passionate as far as what she would do for the people. So I had her on my show a couple of weeks ago, but because there've been early voting this week, and I think yesterday was the last day, and then this upcoming Tuesday is the actual voting. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to bring her back on. Last week I had a lady named Michelle Smith who was running for Senate. And this week I have Remi Duyile, who's running for Maryland delegate in District 23. Right now, Remi seems to be running a little behind. So I am going to jump into my topic that I was going to talk about, which calls Life Happens. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, as a father, I have talks with my kids, and I actually had a conversation with one of my daughters today. Ironically, she called me this morning, and just knowing where she is in life, she's only 23. And I had to explain to her about things. She was very frustrated about, her always working, her always paying bills. She was worried about just the fact about being an adult. And I had to explain to her, she was talking nonsense. I'm saying, be honest with y'all, she was talking nonsense. And I told her, explain to her that in life happens to everyone. You know what I'm saying? We can't give up because things are hard. I told her a lot of times we as human beings, we set these expectations for ourselves and for others. And when we are disappointed, We get so upset. We get so mad. We get so, how can I explain it? We get so disappointed to the point where we get depressed sometimes. You know what I'm saying? People get depressed, people get angry, people they feel as though life is not going the way that they hoped it would go, because they see other people who are succeeding. They see other people who are achieving and everything. Like I told her, that the people that you see succeed in life, they have a story to tell too. Everybody's been through something. No, not life is not easy for anyone. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I mean, you got some people who are, they're doing very well. Then you got some people who are on social media faking like they're doing well, but they're actually not. They're struggling and stuff because they're trying to create this image and everything. But I told her, I don't care what level you are in life, what education level you're at, what financial level you're at, you are going to encounter some hard times. That's just life. Even Steve Jobs, the person who invented the iPhone, you know what I'm saying? He had all the money in the world, but he passed away due to health reasons and stuff. And what I'm saying is basically that we sometimes think we all have it together, or we want to have it all together. And then once you so-called get it together, then there's another challenge that's going to be in front of you and stuff. And like I told my daughter, even though you may not be where you want to be, you know what I'm saying, you could be worse. You know what I'm saying? No matter how we look at it, you know what I'm saying? We have these things. We all want this big, nice house. We want all this money. We want the perfect spouse. We want the perfect body. We want all these things perfect and stuff like that. But guess what though? No matter what you have or where you are, there are people who would die to be in your place. You know what I'm saying? Like I told her, she might be struggling financially to the point where she's paying for this and that, but I told her, at least you got the money to pay for. And I had to share with her that when I was her age, that I too, you know what I'm saying, had difficulties paying for things. And then I told her, once I got kids, then all your money goes towards your kids, and then you can't do the things you want to do. And it does become frustrating. You know what I'm saying? When you can't be where you want to be, and you look at others and you feel like, oh, well, they where I should be, or you feel like you should be further in life, but you're not, it can be frustrating. But what you got to do at that moment is understand that you're at that moment for a reason. You know what I'm saying? We all cannot change the past, but we all can change our future. And what I mean by that is, like, we are what we are in life by a consumption of our thoughts and actions. You know what I'm saying? And our reactions, based on what that was done around us, based off the efforts that we made, based off our thoughts, ideas, and the words that have come out of our mouth. We are where we are right now in life. If you don't like it, change it. But at the same time, though, people tend to want to compare themselves to others, when really you should compare yourself to you and your abilities, you and your potential. Because just like I shared with her, like, we wake up every day, which is a gift from God, because there are people we know every day that passed away. You look at the news, you see people getting shot, people getting killed, people in real bad accidents. You know what I'm saying? Tragic things happen to people the way that they die. We're blessed to even see another day. We take that for granted because we're not where we want. We have our sanity, we have our health in many cases, but we take that for granted and stuff because we're not where we want to be. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who sit in the hospital that would rather be where you be at. There are people who are in the grave that would rather be where you be that you're at. And people don't even realize it and stuff. Yeah, I'm not where I'm at. I'm not making the money that I should make. I'm not, what I'm saying, having a job or career that I should have. Yeah, I don't have the luxury of the company of the spouse that I want. But guess what? You're here. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. And anything that goes on in your life is because of you, as far as how you respond. Like, life is basically 10% of what happens to us, but 90% of how we respond to what happens to us. Because here's the thing, I don't care what anyone says, everybody goes through pain. Everybody blood is red. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you know what I'm saying, feels those two right there. Your blood is red and you go through pain. And regardless of where you are, you're gonna feel some type of hurt. You're gonna feel some type of anger. And then it's gonna be times in your life where you're gonna feel some type of joy and you're gonna feel some type of pleasure and stuff. So, like I shared with my daughter, like when you're doing extremely well, You ain't reaching out, you ain't complaining. It's only when things are not going the way that you want that people tend to complain. And a lot of time, a lot of stuff starts with you as an individual. We all can make improvements in our life, you know what I'm saying? But life happens to everyone. People feel as though that, oh, like even me, I see stuff on social media. I see a lot of women who get BBLs, and you know what I'm saying? That's the Brazilian butt lift. And they do it for who? I always ask myself, who they doing it for? Are they really doing it for the guys, or are they doing it for themselves? Because most guys just like women. Yes, we're visual as men and everything, and we like to look at things, but do they even think about the long-term health results of that? Because a lot of times people do stuff for the moment, and that's what gets so much people caught up in everything. You're living for the moment. You're not thinking long term. So in this thing called life, it's like a roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster. It's going to be up and down. It's like a roller coaster. So people don't understand. There's going to be time you're going to be at the top of the roller coaster and you're going to look down. And then as you come down, your heart going to drop. And then you're going to be like, dag, how did I get here and stuff? Then you're going to be scared at points in your life. Then there's going to be time when the ride over and you're going to be laughing and having a good time. And it's the same thing in life. We all go through things to the point where sometimes we are very on that high and we're feeling good about ourselves. Then we're on that low. You know what I'm saying? Then we got moments where we're not sure about certain things and stuff. And I think it's the uncertainty because everybody wants to know the next step. Everybody has this need to know. Everybody got this need to know. I need to know this. I need to know that. And a lot of times you ain't gonna know jack shiggity. You know what I'm saying? It's just for you at that particular moment to go through the moment and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to deal with things as they come your way and stuff. You're not going to always be able to figure things out. Just like some people have to know, dot every I and cross every T in order for them to make a move. But sometimes all you got to do is make a move for things to work in its place. That's why they always say faith without works is dead. People can pray all the time, but if you don't do nothing but pray, nothing's gonna happen. It's the saying that like a lot of women who want to be in a relationship and they want to be found, but they always in the house. So what they think, somebody gonna kick their door down and they're gonna be found. And then when they look on social media or TV and they see one of their girlfriend who found somebody, but that girlfriend is always out to be seen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just using that as an example because there are many things that happen with us in life, even when it pertains to careers and jobs and stuff like that. Sometimes your biggest reward in life is stepping outside of your comfort zone. People are too comfortable nowadays and stuff like that. That's why sometimes when they get to a certain age or a certain level, they say, oh, I don't want to go back to that. But nobody wants to go back to the way it was. But sometimes the way it was helped you get to where you are. And what I mean by that is basically you have to look at that sometimes when you're not in your comfort zone, it propels you to where you need to be. Just like I know a guy who recently lost his job. He was a graphic designer, real good guy, lost his job. It was they had new management. Management came in, swept in. He got fired. He got fired because there was a lot of complaints. But he was the one behind the scenes doing all the work. It wasn't his fault. Now, I had a talk with him, and I was like, look here, man. Unfortunately, in life, things happen that are out of our control. And sometimes when one door closes, another door opens. So he was real down on himself. I had this talk with him and stuff. I saw him 2 days ago. He found another job. He said they hired him on a spot. He gets paid more money. You know what I'm saying? He likes the location. It's closer to where he lives at and everything. And I'm just saying that to say that sometimes we have to be pushed out of our comfort zone in order to propel us to where we need to be. Sometimes things need to be shook up in our life in order for us to get to where our potential for us to be. Because us as human beings, sometimes when you're just comfortable and content, you'll stay there. Just like there are people who stay in 30 and 40-year relationships, you know what I'm saying? Unhappy, waiting on the other person to die, unfortunately. They waiting for the other person to die. You know what I'm saying? They unhappy. They've been unhappy for 30, 40 years. And I'm talking about older people because I've seen this. They've been unhappy for 30, 40 years. And they get to the point where, that person died. But guess what? They ain't too many years from dying either, because you know what I'm saying, they in their 60s or 70s or something like that. And it's like you never lived your life because of the fact that you've been content. And there's so many content people that are out here, you know what I'm saying, that just settle for where things are, and then they complain in their life. Then they look at other people, look at other situations, look on social media, and then they like that. And everybody thinks it's easy too. So when they look on social media and they see this person doing this and they doing this, then everybody's a digital creator and everybody's a relationship expert and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is now. Like even with podcasts, a lot of podcasts talk about relationship. And I don't knock any podcast and stuff because this is my podcast. But everybody ain't a relationship expert. People can only explain relationship from their experiences and from what they have seen and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They can't answer what's go right in your relationship and stuff like that. That's only between you, the other person, and God. You know what I'm saying? What's best for you. That's why so many people are they listen to this person, listen to this person, listen to that person, and then they unhappy. And they ain't got nobody because they doing the wrong thing for the wrong people instead of knowing the individual that's in front of you, reading that person and dealing with it from that perspective, because that's the only thing you can do. People are not in y'all relationships to know exactly what you're dealing with. Just like as human beings, we all look alike. Like I'm a black man. You know what I'm saying? People may look and say, oh, they can stereotype it just based off me being a black man. They can say, oh, he's a criminal, or he's an athlete, or anything like that. That because people do that. They look at you and they judge you. They judge you without knowing you and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, though, life happens to everyone. So how your life turns out is really contingent upon what you do and how you respond to everything. Just like when you're in traffic and people cut you off, and if you respond in an angry way, you know what I'm saying, and that person in that car that you chasing got a gun, and then they retaliate and shoot you, yes, they're dead wrong. But guess what? It was your response that also led to that unfortunate demise, because of the fact that why respond to negativity? Because there's so much negativity out here in the world, y'all. It's so many miserable people. And we have to learn to block people and ignore people who do not mean us any good, who do not feed the direction that we want to go in. You know what I'm saying? Like I told my daughter when I held a conversation with her, I told her, first of all, I'm always here to support you. Second of all, I love you. Third of all, understand that no matter where you are, you're better than a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Fourth of all, I was explaining also, you know what I'm saying, that that it's just life. Nothing is easy for anybody. Then once you reach to the pinnacle of your success, you can come back and tell your story about the road you took. Because a lot of time when stuff is given to people, it just as quickly as it's given to them, as quickly as it's taken away and gone, because they never earned it. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes people get to hit the lottery. And when they hit the lottery, they broke in, what is it, like a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Once they get that money, they broke. Just like professional athletes, 3 to 5 years, once they start playing, majority of them are broke. Not all, but a majority of them are broke. You know why? Because stuff was given and stuff wasn't learned and stuff wasn't earned. And sometimes people don't have the right knowledge and know how and want to do better. They're content with where they are. That's why Floyd Mayweather, he was able to take his earnings and become rich, because he surrounded himself with people who were smarter than him to help guide him and stuff. You all know he could barely read, but look at him, wealthy. You know, you can't take that from him because he never wanted to go back. And what I'm saying is, though, is when you have the opportunity and you're doing a certain thing, you'll need to want to do better for yourselves, want to do better for everyone else. But understand, no matter where you at in life, life happens to everyone. I don't care about people who you think is doing well. You know, everybody, nobody wants to talk about, like on social media, everybody talk about, they show their best life. Everybody shows their best life. They don't show what they've gone through. Then if they show what they've gone through, then you know what I'm saying, people want to judge them and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? People have the nerve to judge people as if you're living a perfect life. And that's why sometimes people don't say certain things, because people just want to see that you're doing bad and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, when people, I'm sorry, I'm getting a text message from Remi who's trying to come on. When people want to judge you and everything, I clicked on the link. It does not. Hold on. when people want to judge you and stuff, understand they're judging you from a place where they themselves are not in a good place. And a lot of times people judge others because they try to deflect it and take it off the spotlight off of them. That's why they want to judge you. But a lot of times when people look, because here's the thing, whether we realize it or not, whether we're on the spotlight or not, people are still judging us. People are still talking about us. I'm talking about everyone. Everybody's being talked about by somebody, whether it's on your job, whether it's in your family, whether it's by your spouse family, whether it's by people that you think are your friends. People got something to say. Oh, she thinks she all that. Oh, he think he like that. I recently found out that somebody at the brokerage that I'm at and everything said that I was the competition when it pertains to real estate. And you know what I'm saying? They looking at me. Guess what? I could care less. Because I told them if I feel like anybody competition, I step my game up. But it's always me versus me. It's always me versus me. And in this thing called life, I strive every day to become a better person for myself. I try to be the best me and the best version of myself. And then even when I have my down days, you have to sometimes take a break. You have to rest. When life becomes overwhelming, pause where you at. Take a nap if you need to. Reset and rejuvenate later on. That's what you might need to do. Because sometimes in this thing called life, it can become very stressful. Sometimes you can feel like you're doing stuff on your own when you have no support, but you got to lean to God. You know what I'm saying? Like your heavenly Father, whoever you pray or believe in. And the fact is, though, you know what I'm saying? The fact that people who, you know what I'm saying, believe in a higher being pray. Sometimes you need to just ease your mind of everything that goes on in the world because there's so much going on in this world. There's so much going on in this world to the point where if we just deal with everything that comes our way, we will be overwhelmed. We will be stressed. We will sometimes a person can have a nervous breakdown or go bald or just have an anxiety attack or whatever because it's too much to deal with. Sometimes you got to relax. That's what vacations are made for, to relax. That's what spas and pedicures and manicures for those who like to do it, relax. That's why massages, I give a lot of my clients when settlement's over, I give them a 1 hour treatment to a massage, and it's to relax them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that sometimes in this thing called life, when you're dealing with so much, you need to just pause for a second. You need to stop. You need to relax. You might need to take a nap. For those who like to indulge in drinking wine, they might need to drink wine, listen to some good music, read a good book. These things help to alleviate stress because, again, life happens to everyone. It happens to everyone, y'all. And I'm just trying to explain to y'all that people don't talk about it. Like I said, everybody's on social media talking, showing their best life. They on the boat, they down in Miami, they in Aruba, they on the planes, they out to dinner, eating real good. Everybody's showing their best life. And truth be told, everybody ain't living like that all the time. Yes, we go out to nice places to eat. Yes, we take trips and vacation. But trust and believe, people are going through some hell and high waters out here. So I just want you all to really understand that when it pertains to this thing called life, please, for yourself, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your kids, for the sake of everyone, for your sake, please understand you're not in this thing called life alone. Look out there in the traffic. Look at traffic. Don't y'all always see cars going? Cars are always moving in traffic. Look at the highway. Cars are always moving. You know why? Because life is always going. And guess what? The same thing for you. Life is always going. You know what I'm saying? We all go through life. Sometimes it's good to have people in your corner, but if you don't have people in your corner, guess what? Reach out to somebody you know what I'm saying, that you trust. Text somebody. But if you don't and everything, guess what? Understand, I'm telling you, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? If you want to reach out to me, inbox me, text me, whatever, you got to understand this thing called life is not meant to do alone. So if you're feeling the burdens of life on you, you know what I'm saying? Relax. If you can't relax, take a nap. Believe me, take a nap. A lot of times when you take a nap, you wake up, the pressure is not always there. But take a nap, please, because life can wear you down. People can wear you down. Family can wear you down. So I see that I have Remi who's finally made it on here. So I'm going to bring her on, you all. Hold on for one quick second. One quick second. Remi!
Hey man, how are you? What's up? What's up? I'm so sorry for joining you late.
It's
You said we
okay.
could take a nap. I wasn't taking a nap, but I was taking a deep breath after an 8 day early
Mhm.
voting, manning so many polls. So I do
Right.
apologize for joining late.
That's okay. I understand. Better late than never is what I always say. You know what I'm saying? Slow progress is better than no progress. So at least you're here.
Yes,
Welcome.
sir. Thank you.
Welcome. So tell us about what's going on as far as the voting, early voting, where you at and everything. I see you got a lot of endorsements from I got this in the mail. I got your little, can you see it? Hold on.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got
wow.
it in the mail. I got it in
Lovely,
the mail, and
lovely.
I see I see you got Aisha Brave Boy. I know her. I haven't spoke to her in a while, and I see you got Les Brown endorsing you and stuff, which is great. So I already knew what they're saying and stuff, so that's why I had you come on my show, and I was also explaining before you came on that you know what I'm saying, you and I have a good connection and used to be in mortgages and things of that nature. So please talk to us. You know what I'm saying? The mic is yours.
The mic is mine, my brother. Thank you so much. I cannot wait till we start doing some big things together for the community and for our professional career.
Yeah,
So, yes, I'm glad you got that in your hand. You are definitely my district. So, I do hope that I can count on your vote.
of
But not,
course.
thank you. Thank you. Spread the word. We still have another opportunity on July 19th to cast a ballot.
That's
And
Tuesday.
definitely you want yours truly, your Remi Duyile, to go represent you in Annapolis. The past 8 days, we've been grinding, getting to you guys who came out for early voting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was like a movement. People came out in droves and people were doing their little research, coming prepared, coming also to hear from the candidates. I mean, this has just been an amazing time. A little bit tiring. So I'm glad you said we could take a nap and that we can reach out to you so we have someone to lean on. But most importantly, your voice is your power. Your voice is what will change the narratives. Honestly, do not feel that you can be bound by some principalities and powers and
hmm
establishments. Your voice, do your research. There's
hmm
so much that we can do together. But when you find the right leaders sitting and
hmm
representing you, that's the only time that those things can come to fruition.
hmm
Yes, all of us cannot be legislators, but all of us can have the voice to bring leaders who are connected to the grassroots, not leaders who are disconnected with what's happening in our neck of the wood. A
hmm
vote for Remi Duyele clearly is that. And I know Damien will hold me accountable. And many of you that I know as friends, as colleagues, I know that you will ensure that we do not take this vote for granted. So come on July 19th, you still have that opportunity. We will be at about 50 polling stations in
Okay.
District 23 from
Okay.
7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Damien, if you are free, come on out and help me man a poll for an hour, 30 minutes. Your
Okay.
network
I'm
too
gonna
can
come. I'm
come
gonna
in.
come to one. I'm gonna be in touch with you. You know what I'm saying. I'll let you know because also last week I had candidate Michelle Smith. She's running for state senate. And the thing is though is I had her on it as well. I went to high school with her, so
Oh,
she wanted me to come up to Annapolis on Tuesday. So I think I'm gonna go out there, but that's like Tuesday evening, I think, to watch the results. So I'm gonna go up there. But yes, I would definitely come out Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
to do one of the one of the hours for you, so I can
Yay.
just assist you and everything. So I don't mind assisting, but I'll definitely be there. Yeah, but I'm very happy for you and stuff. I hope that you win, and your passion and purple is your favorite color. I just had Chef Sandra, um, Candra, I'm sorry, Candra Hardy, who just said purple is her favorite color. So she's a great chef. I don't know if you're on Instagram, but her thing is every plate is great. But long story
Mm.
short, she said her favorite color is purple, and she said, "God bless you, Miss Remy." So
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. God bless all of us.
yeah. So here's the thing though. So basically, how things are coming along right now. Share with the people again why they should choose you. I already know because when I met you, I told you, I said Remy got the remedy. You remember? I said Remy got
Yes.
the remedy. So you got the remedy. So tell us how this remedy gonna work for everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you. Exactly what you said is what you did say. And I knew we were going to continue this conversation after the first time we met. The remedy is here because there's experience. The remedy is here because there's a passion to serve. The remedy is about knowing what the people want, connected with the people. So, what made me to step out and say, let's go and make a difference was I was sick and tired of complaining, sitting at the fence and waiting for change to happen. The change starts with me. So I raised my hand to say, you know what, let's go see if we can do something different because we did different things in the corporate world, in the
Hmm.
community world. Why can't we do it now? Hence my reason for embarking on this a little under a year. It will be a year, July 19th, that
Hmm.
I've been in this race. So it was not an afterthought. It was a thought to come out and to serve the people. And I've been meeting various people since then. Everything you said is what gave us the focus of what we're going to be doing. Going
Hmm.
out there to fight for public funding, for
Hmm.
education, so we can enhance our public school systems.
Hmm.
Healthcare disparities, an issue that you all have spoken to me about.
Hmm.
In Annapolis, I will be fighting for that to ensure that we get a right share. As a former vice president of a bank, I know the power of business development. I know the power of access to capital. Some of you have whispered in my ears how hard that is. We are going to give you access to resources that you will take ownership and be included. We're not going to talk about inclusion by lip service. No, we are going to hold each other accountable and we are going to create economic empowerment amongst ourselves.
Hmm.
These are the reasons I'm running. And of course, parental engagement. Our kids have not asked to be born, we brought them to this world. We've got to be able to support them and nurture them so they can feel the love and use the love to be who God has created them to be. So, as your candidate, as the mother myself of three great young leaders, I know that we have to be engaging and respectful of our children all the time. I
Right.
can go on and on and on, but please visit our website, voteremiduyile.com. That will tell you all of that. I'm so excited about this race, and I'm trusting God that we will have a seat at the table so we can bring fun, authentic narratives to Annapolis for the good of the entire District 23 community and Maryland at large.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad to hear that and everything because you're very passionate about this, and we want to make sure that people are basically, is that correct? That I put? Can you see it? Vote.
No, I can't
Okay, I
see.
think I had it. Vote.
Oh yeah, I see
Hear
it.
me.
Yeah, you got it. You got
Yeah.
it. I see it.
Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
do your
So
link.
basically, what I'm saying, I want people to be able to hopefully, go to the website. Also, go to the polls on Tuesday because early voting is over with. And hopefully, where are you at on the voting on the ballot? Number what?
I'm number three on the ballot. Number three on the ballot. District 23. Remi Duyile. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you got a lot going on and everything. So you're at the polls today, or what are you doing today?
No, I'm going around still door knocking, getting the word out for the last minute for those who might still be on the fence
Yeah,
to say that I'm ready to serve. And that's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm speaking to you in my car, as you can see
Yeah,
in the
that's
background.
good. Listen, the way technology is now, you can speak to people mobily, any and everywhere and stuff. And
Yes,
again, like I said, I wanted to bring you back on so that people can, get familiar with you. I mean, I'm pretty sure they see your signs throughout PG County, and they just, what I'm saying, like they see it, but they be like, okay, well, who is she? You know what I'm saying?
that's
Because
right.
like I can't remember where I was at. It was somewhere. It was like 1,000 people running, and it's like all these people, and you're like, okay, who's who, what's what. So sometimes you don't know who a person is. So for people who
Right.
do go into the poll, they see these names and they probably say, okay, well, I seen her name the most, you know what I'm saying? But when they speak to you and they hear you talking and they know who you are and why you're running, you know what I'm saying? It gives people more insight, and then they'll go with people, you know what I'm saying, that they trust and like. And you know what I'm saying? You seem very trustworthy, and you know what I'm saying? And I like you as a person. So I know that plenty of people will would like you as well if they knew you and stuff. That's one of the reasons why I want you to come on, just to share your political aspects and goals. So that way, when you do win, because we're going to speak that into existence, when you do win and you're in the office, you won't forget all the things that you said that you was going to do, because you did it. Did you freeze? Look like she's frozen. Remi, are you there? Okay, that's the one thing about technology. Also, we could be in a service area that has a bad service, and I don't know what carrier she's using, but I have Verizon, and they're not always the best. So, but they always they charge like they the best. They might have used to be the best, but yeah, that was Remi. Remi, I put her website right there for you all to take a visit, so you all can check out what she has to say and do. But like I said, Remi is a good person, and I think something happened with her phone because she got disconnected. And I think the last time we was on, something was going on with her phone to where we couldn't even hear her anymore. But I just want to say that if you all are in Prince George's County and you're on the ballots, remember she's number 3. She's running for District 23, number 3, Remi Duyile. Um, did I did I do her name? No, I didn't even do her name right. She said I did and I didn't. Because I just realized. Hold on. Uh, let me go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I had a V instead of a Y, y'all. That's her website. So please check her out. If you're online right now, which many of you are, just go in there and check out remidurao.com. Also check her out at the polls. Early voting is over, but on Tuesday, for those of you in Maryland, especially Prince George's County, go out there and vote. So let me go back to finish talking about my life happens, because she happened to come back on while I was concluding. So again, everyone, I want everyone to please just reflect on life happens. Life happens to you. Life happens to me. Life happens to everyone. The problem with life is so many fake people out here who want to fake like they got everything together. Everybody doesn't have everything together. People want to fake like they're always on top. No matter how much you're on top, sometimes you fall to the bottom. You go through hardships, pain, headaches, stress. We all do it. People just don't share it. But I just want people to realize that in your moments of hardship and struggling and everything, I just want you to realize that there is peace. There's peace within you. There's peace surrounding you. Sometimes you just have to stop where you're at. You got to stop and reflect. Sometimes when things become overwhelming too much, stop. Do nothing. Because if you can't resolve, sometimes it's not going to change. Just like they say, worrying doesn't change anything, and stressing yourself out doesn't change anything but you and your health. So sometimes you have to take on a care but not caring, nonchalant attitude when it pertains to things when it's overwhelming. You got to set goals for yourself, set goals, and you got to be better organized. And then sometimes you just have to relax and everything and do the best you can, because when you do the best you can from where you are, doors open for you. When you make no effort, nothing moves. That's why sometimes some people can be so content and they can be stagnant that they are where they are years down the line, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, because nothing has changed with them. People have a same routine sometimes who work regular jobs. They go to church on Sunday, come home, they cook, go to work Monday through Friday. Saturday, they might go shopping or clean up or whatever. Saturday evening, they're getting ready for Sunday. So, only thing I got to say is don't be stagnant where you are. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do not have self pity for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Understand that there are people that, you may not realize it that care about you. It might be at your church, it might be on your job and everything. But sometimes when you keep a lot of stuff to yourself, no one can help you. Like no one knows what you go through. Like when you don't talk to somebody, and I'm not saying just tell your business on social media because so I'm talking about genuine people. There's somebody around you genuine, just like there's always somebody around you fake. You know who that genuine person is. People want the best for you. So understand this thing called life. It's not easy, but it's also can be a beautiful and wonderful thing when it pertains to what we go through and what we do. There's a lot to achieve in life. There's a lot to do in this thing called life. But understand life happens. So no matter what happens to you in your life and everything, understand you are where you are at that moment for a reason. And remember that what happens to you is only 10%. How you respond is 90%. That really determines how you respond to everything. It really determines how your life is going to go, regardless of where you at and what you do. Can't dwell on everything that went wrong because there's gonna be plenty of stuff that goes wrong. You got times got to reflect on things that went right. Just like Michael Jordan, when I was growing up, was my favorite basketball player. He was my favorite basketball player, and I used to watch him all the time. And he missed a lot of shots, but the shots he made are the ones that I remember. He made 1/3 of the shots he missed. So let's say I think they said he over like 2,000 game winning shots throughout his career and only made like 700 or something. So that's like 33%, something like that, or 30%. So what I'm saying to you is a lot of times we get so caught up on what goes wrong in our life that we don't reflect on what went right in our life. There's a lot of good stuff about everyone, about everyone. You know what I'm saying? Don't reflect on everything that went wrong. Don't reflect on the bad relationships. Don't reflect on the bad job experiences. Don't reflect on the bad car experiences or the bad upbringing and stuff. Don't reflect on that because in negativity, there's always a positive. There's always a positive. We don't see it sometimes, but trust me, believe we do. There is one. There is one. So I just want to recap today on the topics. Let me go back. The beginning was the rent with option to buy. I reflected on the pros and cons, and the pros is if you can get a homeowner that's willing to do that, they can assist with the down payment, and also a lot of times you can get that house that you're renting. You know what I'm saying, at a great price and everything, and then they can also, be flexible with the credit, but sometimes they're not. The cons is sometimes you don't know the status of the home, and also there's a lot of legal issues that tend to pop up because in the lease agreement, it's always a conflict when it pertains to what the house to be sold at, whether it's been sold at the value before when the house was first rented or the value of once the lease term is up. But you got to read the fine print when it pertains to that because sometimes that can be very tricky. So most homeowners today are either renting or they're either selling. So, but if you're renting from a homeowner, you can always talk to them to see if they are willing to sell at the end of the lease agreement. And a lot of times they will tell you, we'll see. And they're basing it on your rental history and also the housing market. And the housing market changes every 3 to 6 months, whether people realize it or not. It changes every 3 to 6 months. Nothing remains the same. That's why when people buy a house and they tell you what they went through, you always got to ask them, well, when did you buy? And you always got to look at the market from when they bought to when you're trying to buy. But it's always a great time to buy real estate. Remember that. And then also when it pertains to Miss Remi, I have our website right there and everything. That is her website. So remember to go out and vote for her because she's a great candidate. She's in PG County. Um, she's running in District 23. She's number 3 on the ballot. So for those of you all who are out in Prince George's County. Remember her on the ballot, number 3, District 23. She's a great person, so I think that she will represent um, the folks in Prince George's County very well. So please vote for her on Tuesday, July 19th. Early voting is over with, but please take the time to go vote for her because I think you all will like her. You got to vote, people. Please vote. Um, and then also, I wanted to reflect on again, life happens. Life happens to all of us, everyone, regardless of where you're at, what you're going through. Just know you're not alone. Just know that regardless of how bad you think it is, there's always someone that's willing to be in your place. And regardless of anything, just understand that you will succeed. You will overcome everything that you're achieving in life right now. And as long as you wake up every day with a sound mind and good health, you're already winning, whether you realize it or not. Because there are many people in this thing called life who struggle, mentally, they're not stable, and health wise, they're in terrible health. And they will gladly trade the problems that you have for what they're going through. There are people sitting in a hospital who wish they can just get out. There are people sitting in mental institute, what I'm saying? And so we all want to live a good life. We all want to have a lot of money and have fun and everything, but unfortunately, everyone's not going to achieve that. But at the same time, doesn't mean you don't have a blessed life for where you are right now. You know, you do have a blessed life. We all play a role for a reason. We all need each other. We need the trash people. We need the utility people. We need the entrepreneurs. We need the people in the grocery store. We need the people at the gas station. We all play a role. We all need each other. So please do not think that your life is any less than anyone else because it's not. Your life is grand, you know, regardless of where you at and what you're going through. Your life is fantastic, because your life is your life. You are you. When you look in the mirror and everything, you are you. And regardless of where you are in life, you have the ability to change anything that you want to, what I'm saying, strongly enough. It's all in you. And where you at right now, like I said, is a combination of your responses, your thoughts, your choices. So that's where you're at. But guess what? None of us can change the past, but we all control our future. So just remember that. None of us can change the past, but we all control our future. So work on those things, write things down. When you write things down, it tends to come into the universe. When you just keep the thoughts in your head, it's just there. Then you forget about it. Then it comes up later on, months later, years later. Write it down. What you want to do, where you want to go. Create a plan. Once you create that plan, you've already taken the first step for it to happen, regardless of what it is. So it's all about a mindset. A lot of times where we're at in life, it's our mindset. When we're stressed out and we're stuck thinking about whatever it is we've been through. It's a mindset. Change the way you think, and you would change your world. You know, remember that. So I just want you all to understand that, reflect on that, and just know that if it gets that bad that you don't have anyone, you can always inbox me, you know what I'm saying? Or yeah, inbox me, you know what I'm saying? Or text me. I'm always available to listen. But we all have people around us and everything. We just sometimes don't realize those who are close to us that are there for us, that will be there for us when we really need them. But sometimes people don't even know that you need them because you hold everything to yourself. Learn to let stuff go and to talk to the genuine people in your life so that you can have a good life moving forward. I thank you all for coming to my show. Remember, it's every Friday at 12 noon. It's real estate, real life, real talk, and real live with Damon, the agent. I appreciate you all. I thank you again. Enjoy your weekend, and call or text somebody that you haven't spoke to in a while and let them know that you're thinking about them. Thank you all. Have a great day.